Mr. Stanton.
Thank you very much, Ceann Comhairle. I would like to begin by thanking deputies for their contributions here tonight. Protecting our people and our communities is a fundamental responsibility of government and one which we take extremely seriously. And it is clear that this is a subject that resonates very strongly with members of the House. My colleague Minister Flanagan has highlighted some of the excellent work of An Garda Síochána in tackling rural crime, along with the huge unprecedented resources allocated to the Commissioner, 1.76 billion for this year alone. The ongoing recruitment and redeployment of Gardaí and the significant new legislative provisions that help Gardaí to fight crime and put criminals behind bars. In the brief time available to me, Ceann Comhairle, I would like to talk about a number of additional items that the Minister wished to highlight in relation to the Government's counter-motion. However, I would first like to make a point in relation to the reporting of crime to An Garda Síochána. Some commentators have suggested that not all crime is reported. I believe it is absolutely vital that as elected officials we continue to encourage all citizens to report all instances of criminality to An Garda Síochána. Only then can the crime be properly investigated by Gardaí. Also, and just as important, the reports will allow the Garda authorities to identify any new or emerging crime trends affecting a particular community and, where necessary, to allocate Garda resources in order to tackle these problems. It will also inform the Government and this House as we develop policy and legislation. The new Garda Commissioner has been travelling the country engaging with people, and he has placed a huge emphasis on protecting the community and ensuring responsive policing. It is important that policing is and continues to be a collaboration between An Garda Síochána and the community it serves. Regarding Community Text Alert, the programme for government includes a commitment to support and prioritise community crime prevention, including Text Alert, which is an example of Garda community collaboration. Garda Text Alert scheme provides an additional and effective means for Gardaí to communicate crime prevention information to local communities. Since it was launched in September 2013, it has grown quickly with a total of 164,000 subscribers and in the order of 3 million text messages sent annually. Every Garda division, rural and urban, now offers the Text Alert service, and An Garda Síochána has published guidelines to assist in the establishment and operation of local groups. At the National Ploughing Championship last September, the Minister for Justice and Equality announced details of the 2018 Text Alert rebate scheme, which was available to over 1,000 local groups registered under the Garda Text Alert scheme. The Department of Justice and Equality committed in the region of €150,000 to local communities who wish to apply for a rebate towards the costs associated with running the local Text Alert scheme. 2017 saw payments, by the way, made under the rebate scheme almost double to €125,000 paid out to almost 50 groups. The proposed motion indicates, Ceann Comhairle, that just 4 CCT grant aid applications have been approved. That is not accurate. In fact, 20 grant applications have been approved to date. So by voting this through, you're actually voting something through that's not actually accurate at all. 20 grant applications have been approved to date. In furtherance of the commitment in the programme for a partnership government to support investment in CCTV schemes, a grant aid scheme was launched by the Department of Justice and Equality in 2017 to assist in the establishment of community-based CCTV schemes in their local areas. It is intended that the scheme will run for 3 years, with funding of €1 million being made available each year. In establishing the grant aid scheme, the Department consulted broadly, including with the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner, An Garda Síochána, the Office of the Attorney General and the Local Government Management Agency. The scheme is open to all groups wishing to take advantage of the available funding and meeting the long-standing statutory requirements for establishment of CCTV schemes. The Department continues to actively engage with all relevant parties to provide information on the scheme and to reply to any queries that arise. There has been a lot of information, Ceann Comhairle, misinformation about this scheme, but the Data Protection Commissioner has clarified the law, and I am pleased that many groups have been successful with their applications. And just to be clear about this, it's provided in Section 38 of the Garda Síochána Act as amended and the Garda Síochána CCTV Law 2006. The law requires proposed community CCTV schemes to be approved by the local JPC, have the authorisation of the Garda Commissioner, have the prior support of the relevant local authority, which must act as data controller in respect of the system. So I hope that clarifies that matter. Regarding criminal legal aid, Ceann Comhairle, as the House knows, first and foremost, there is a constitutional requirement for criminal legal aid to ensure the right of a fair trial is upheld. It is a fundamental principle of law that an accused person is entitled to a presumption of innocence when they come before the court, and legal representation and any obstacles to obtaining necessary legal aid which were found to be unreasonable could give a defendant an avenue for appeal or prohibition of the prosecution. The overriding concern is to ensure that no risk arises in relation to prosecution of persons charged with criminal offences before the courts. Of course, criminal legal aid is not popular, but it is a necessary facet of a democratic society and a fair and just legal system. In a demand-led system, it is difficult to predict or reduce expenditure. The more successful Garda Éireann bring accused persons before the criminal courts, the more likely there will be an increased demand for criminal legal aid. And can I say as well that the Department is currently preparing a draft scheme of a criminal justice legal aid bill. Commitments contained in the programme for government will be addressed in the general scheme, including the introduction of a contribution system, the introduction of a more rigorous and effective means testing, and provision for increased sanctions for false declarations of income. So we're looking at that as well. Regarding Garda station reopenings, the programme for government commits to a pilot scheme to reopen 6 Garda stations, both urban and rural, to determine possible positive impacts that such openings will have on criminal activity, with special emphasis on burglaries, theft and public order. The Garda Commissioner's final report on the matter, which is available on the Department of Justice website, recommends that Ballinspittle Garda station be reopened, along with stations in Bonboy, County Cavan, Donard, County Wicklow, Lenbridge, County Carlow, Rush and Stepaside, County Dublin. And I'm told that that the one in Ballinspittle will be completed in Q2 of 2019. So that's some information for the House on that, which was looked for. The OPW has responsibility for the provision and maintenance of Garda accommodation. The Garda authorities are continuing to engage with the OPW in relation to the design, planning where required, and procurement of the works required to permit the reopening of these buildings as operational Garda stations. As the works required are different at each of the 6 former stations, it can be expected they will reopen at different times. The works required at one station, Donard, have already been completed, and the building has been handed over to Garda Síochána by the OPW. Implementation of the programme and reopening of the 5 remaining stations is being pursued as a priority, and I've already addressed one of them there, and the OPW expects works should be completed in each case this year in 2019. We will monitor the outcome of this pilot scheme because it is important to stress that the presence of a Garda station is not necessarily the most effective way to deter criminals. Modern policing operations are far more sophisticated, and the Garda Commissioner is best placed to determine where resources should be deployed to combat crime and protect the community. Could I also say, Ceann Comhairle, that mention has been made mention of resources, that €342 million in ICT is being provided between 2016 and 2021. 60 million Garda building and refurbishment programme, that's a 60 million programme there. 46 million for the Garda fleet from 16 to 21. So a lot of resources are being made available here. Minister Flanagan and Ceann Comhairle mentioned in his speech earlier, all Garda activities, including community policing, will benefit significantly from the financial resources provided in recent budgets. As well as that, the huge injection of personnel coming on stream through the Garda recruitment and redeployment programmes, and this government's commitment to substantially increase Garda numbers will ensure that Garda Síochána has the capacity to address the needs of communities throughout the country, now and into the future. This government will continue to offer our unwavering support to Garda Síochána in their fight against crime. And I would expect, and I know that every member of this House will do the same. And we will continue to place community safety at the heart of our work in the Department of Justice and Equality. Thank you, Minister. And could I move the counter motion?
You could move the amendment, yeah.
The amendment, yeah.